Hi again all. I thought I'd do a little bit of the astrology for July. We have a lot of things going on, let's just say. I am going to read it out from the sheet of paper that I printed out, but this is for July. We start the retrograde season, so most people fear the retrogrades, but retrogrades can actually get things moving a lot quicker than us sitting on our backsides and not doing anything about it. It makes us do things about things. So July 2019 is a universal 1 month, which means it's all about the self. It's a brand new beginning, but I'm going to read what it says on the piece of paper. Okay, so the 1 universal month and a new cycle begins. The midway point of this year is also a milestone in numerology speaking. July is a 1 universal month, and in numerology, this is the place of emergence. The calendar month will be one to kickstart new things, processes, or activities. We'll likely see an expansion of new trends and firsts that affect large numbers of people over the next 31 days. Sorry, I know I'm looking down. I should be looking at the camera, but I can't do both at the same time. Personally, be ready for innovative or unique ideas to emerge through you so that you can nurture and manifest physically over the coming cycle. So this month you can expect to feel revitalized and important as you start a new cycle. Make new friendships and initiate creative pursuits. A 1 universal month also represents ambition and intention, so this is not a time to limit yourself. It's a dynamic time. You'll likely feel energized and optimistic, so put this energy to good use in your life. So I'm just going to go over, there's a few events as in eclipses for the month, other planets going retrograde. So I'm going to start on the 2nd of July. There's a new moon in Cancer, and it's a total solar eclipse. If you're in, like we're in the southern hemisphere here, it will be the 3rd of July. So that is a new moon in Cancer, and it's going to be a total solar eclipse. So the new moon in Cancer, this month barely begins before one of the biggest astrological events of the year takes centre stage. On the 2nd or 3rd, we'll see the new moon in Cancer, which is also a total solar eclipse. Eclipses have always been known to usher in change, and the effects of this one will be felt deeply within the emotional body. So you could actually feel it emotionally and physically. Serving as a cosmic reset button, this shadowy interruption of solar light coming via the zodiac's ruler of friends, family and home will act as a kind of superpower course correction. So if your priorities have been misaligned up until now, eclipse season could mend the road ahead. Starts to look very different. Soften the blow by getting your values straight. The Cancer-Capricorn axis, where the next 2 eclipses of the year will occur, call for us to balance our desires for personal, long-term accomplishments with the need with the needs of the flock. So that's general collective energy. Then on the 7th of July, or the 8th of July in the southern hemisphere, Mercury goes retrograde in Leo. So the second Mercury retrograde of the year hits on July the 7th or 8th, as the closest planet to the Sun appears to move backwards, first through Leo and then into Cancer. Notorious for scrambling signals and crashing computers. Avoid signing anything, making big purchases, or basically going anywhere or doing anything until the planet stations direct again on the 31st of July. So it's not a very big retrograde, but it's enough you'll feel it beforehand. Actually, I think in the beginning of July you'll start to feel the retrograde, up until I think there's a shadow period just after the 31st of July for about usually a week or so, but it may be longer. So that's the Mercury going retrograde. So on the 7th, so the 7th of the 7th it will be, it's a numerology power day. The day is softened through though by, I'm going to start that one again. The day is softened through though by the numerology power day that encourages a little self-reflection. 7/7 combines as a wake-up call, inviting you to look inward and ask yourself what you really want. Is your life moving in an alignment with your spiritual purposes? Are your choices you make daily serving your highest good? So that's a question you can ask yourself on the 7th of July or the 8th of July. We'll then head to the 8th of July or the 9th of July in the Southern Hemisphere, where Crichton, the planet Crichton, goes retrograde in the sign of Aries. So Crichton goes retrograde in Aries. Another day, another planetary retrograde. Well, almost a planet. Recently reclassed as a comet, and before that an asteroid, Crichton can help us to pinpoint the source of our shadow. In retrograde, this tiny powerhouse serves to uncover layers of wounding and commence the healing process. From now until December 12th is your window to deep. From now until December the 12th is your window to dig deep. It is your window to dig deep. I've got a spelling mistake here. I thought I was the only one that did spelling mistakes. Okay, so that's Crichton goes retrograde in the sign of Aries. On the 16th or 17th of July, we have a full moon in Capricorn, and it is a partial lunar eclipse. So more eclipses. Like I said, we're in eclipse season. So the 16th or 17th, the full moon in Capricorn and partial lunar eclipse, illuminating the skeptical structures which surround us, from our government and climbing institutions to the more everyday rules and regulations that we impose on ourselves. This partial eclipse, full moon in Capricorn, will cause a stir. It's time to face heads on what's not working for any, all, or even some of us. With Saturn retrograde until the 18th of September, Saturn retrograded a few months ago, also here in its home sign, the emotional fallout from any revelations under the moon could be hard to handle. Capricorn and the moon don't sit well together, but ground down here, there is work to be done. So this is what I'm saying. All these things make us actually look at our life and do something about it. So that's the full moon in Capricorn, and it's a partial lunar eclipse. So we now go to the 23rd of July. The sun enters Leo, and it's the start of the Leo season. So happy birthday all the Leos out there. So entering into Sun enters Leo, start of Leo season. Moving on from soft-hearted Cancer, the Sun enters the fiery belly of Leo on the 23rd. For the next solar season, we'll all feel the surge of the lion's pride and its generous, expressive, creative prowess. And use the next 30 days to get playful and bring a little of the rolling lion cub energy into the room. Loosen up and have a little bit of fun. So it's not all bad news, guys. I'm not saying that it is bad news, but this is just basically when we get into different aspects or astrology signs, they each have a different sort of characteristics. So with the sun entering Leo, it's time to sort of, bring out the Leo lion cub, if you like. So then we go to the 31st of July. We have a new moon in Leo. So we have 2 new moons this month for July, so it's quite intense. We have one right at the beginning. We have a new moon in Cancer on the 2nd or 3rd of July, and then we get to the 31st where we have a new moon in Leo. So that's, I think they call it a blue moon because it's 2 new moons in the same month, but I could be corrected on that one. If I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I will anyway. So the 31st of July, new moon in Leo. Each new moon serves as a new beginning, an invitation to set intentions and grow with the waxing lunar cycles. This new moon asks you to connect to your heart and see what wants to emerge from your inner ego. Sorry, I'm just trying to read here. And see what wants to emerge. Whilst many believe Leo to be the most self-centered and self-centered of signs, it actually embodies self-assurance and self-trust. Take some time in the dark and quiet of this lunation to tap into your inner voice. What do you hear? So it's a little bit, sorry, I'm not the best reader out of things. I tend to jump all over the place, but I'm going to read that one again. Each new moon serves as a new beginning, an invitation to set intentions and grow with the waxing lunar cycle. This new moon asks you to connect to your heart and see what wants to emerge from your egoless world. Whilst many believe Leo to be the most self-centered of signs, it's actually embodies self-assurance and self-trust. Take time in the dark and quiet of this lunation to tap into your inner voice. So what do you hear? So it's asking you also that it's a new moon. To set your new moon intentions. That's a really good one because Leo is one of the signs that, if you like, it's classed as a wealthy sign sort of type thing. We also have on the 31st of July, Mercury goes direct. Like it started on the 7th of July and by the 31st it will go direct. So Mercury goes direct. On the very same day as the new moon, Mercury stations direct. So it's at a standstill. When it says stations, it's at a standstill. So it's been going backwards. It's at a standstill, ready to go forward again. On the very same day as the new moon, Mercury stations direct. 3 long weeks of unusual mercurial upheaval draw to a close, and it's almost business as usual. So that is kind of the astrology of July. So I'm going to do this one because July is actually quite a major month because of the retrogrades. So I'm going to post this one as a separate video. and I'll probably post a few other things about, this new moon in Cancer on July, being that it is a total solar eclipse. So yeah, it's quite a major. We haven't had any eclipse so far this year, and we're already into the 6th month, and the 6th month now that I'm doing this video in. So we've had a lot of time to think about things, to plan new directions, to set our intentions for a new course in life, to sort a lot of things out in life. So, and I know a lot of people around me have changed things quite dramatically in their world, be it jobs, businesses, all this sort of type thing, where they're actually heading in life. So if you're one of the ones that maybe hasn't had a big enough of a push to do this, as we're, going through the cycles of the seasons and the year, basically, these retrogrades, planets, and the eclipses will basically bring it to a head. So no more sitting on the fence for a lot of people. That can be including myself. So I'm going to leave it there anyway. I was going to pull a card, but I might do that as a separate video. So take care all, and I wish you the best of luck in July. So we'll all talk again soon.